Today we are doing lesson 7.3, our second day of 7.3. Our I can statements: I can construct triangles with given angle measures, I can construct triangles with given side lengths, and I can determine if a given description will produce one, many, or no triangles. So our focus for today is working on constructions with a protractor. You will need to do each of these problems with me on a piece of paper. So go ahead and pause the video. Make sure you have paper and your protractor. All right, so let's go ahead and try these problems. So for the first one here, it says draw a triangle with the angle measures of 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees, and then classify the triangle. Classify, remember, means name it. Okay, so you're going to start with your protractor, just like what we did on the first part of 7.3. You're going to draw a straight line using the bottom edge like a ruler. You're going to draw it nice and straight. Now in mine, it's a little hard for me to do that because it doesn't actually work like a ruler, but yours should be perfectly straight. You're going to need to, oops, hold on. My goodness, I was starting to do what we did yesterday. Yesterday, we added points, arrows on the ends because we were doing a line, but today we're doing a triangle. So actually, we don't want arrows on the end and a point in the middle. Okay, so we drew a line like we did yesterday, no arrows. We're going to line up, instead of yesterday we picked a point, we put it in the middle, we lined up this way. We're going to line up on one corner. So one edge of your line segment is now going to be the corner of your triangle. I'm going to do my first measurement 30 degrees, and since my angle is going to be going to the right, I'm going to use the bottom set of numbers. Here's where 30 is on the bottom. I'm going to go out to the top. I'm going to make a point at where that is. And then I am going to rotate here and line it up so that my protractor, it's a little hard for me to do it on the digital one, but you're lining up the end of your line with the point that you just drew. And you're going to go ahead and draw your line there. The bigger your bottom line is going to be, the bigger your overall triangle is going to be. Now we're going to go to the other edge of our first line. We're going to line up our center point with that line. We're going to line up the line of the protractor with the line here. Now I'm measuring 60 degrees. This time my angle is going to be pointing to the left, so I need the top set of numbers. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and line this up, and I'm going to draw my line up to where it connects with my other triangle. Now to double check my angle, and I should have labeled as I went. So let's go back and label. 30 degrees was our first one. 60 degrees was our second one. So that means my top angle should be 90 degrees. If it's not, that means we've done something incorrectly. So we're going to line up our center point of our protractor with this, but we need to turn the protractor so that the numbers of the protractor line up with where the triangle is. So it's going to go on top of the triangle. Then we pick one of the sides of the protractor, one of the edges, to line up. And then we measure our other one here. Okay, so I've lined up my line. I've lined up here. My line was a little wobbly, so I was right on 90, and then I kind of wobbled off of it a little bit. That really should be about there. Okay, so if your angle isn't quite right, then you can go ahead and fix it. It's a little hard for me to fix my wobbly line, so I'm just going to keep it how it is. This one's going to be 90. I'm going to use the little square to indicate that. And then I'm going to erase off the top part. Okay, so hopefully you did all of that with me, and if you didn't, pause the video, rewind it, Go back and do all of that on your paper. Okay, then we need to classify the triangle. So I had a right angle. That means it's going to be a right triangle. All of the angles were different sizes, and that means all of my sides are different sizes as well. So it's going to be a right scalene triangle. You can write the word triangle. You don't have to. You can just write right and scalene. All right, here's one to try on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and try this one. Okay, let's go ahead and double check your answers. So if you see that you made a mistake, make sure you fix it on your paper as we go. First step, draw a nice straight line segment on the bottom using the bottom of your protractor as a ruler. We're going to line up our center point with our end of our line segment. Here's our line, 45 degrees on the bottom, halfway in between 40 and 50. We're going to rotate our protractor so that the bottom edge lines up with both the point that you drew and your original point on your line. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and do a nice straight line. Again, mine is a little hard for me to do. I can't actually press up against it, but yours should be perfectly straight. 45 degrees. Now I'm going to do my other 45 degrees. So I'm going to put my protractor now on the other end of my line segment. I'm going to line up the center point here. I'm going to line up the line with my line. Now I'm doing 45 on the top. Halfway between 40 and 50, that's where 45 is. Now I'm going to rotate. I'm going to trace my line. Again, I need to line up my angles, mark my angles, and then 90 should go on the top, so I'll go ahead and mark it. Right angle. Okay, let's double check, make sure I've done this correctly. So I'm going to line up my center point with my angle. I'm going to line up the side, my angle here, with my side. Okay, it looks like I'm kind of quite a bit off here, so I do need to go back and fix. Let's see which one of my angles is off. Let's see. Looks like this one's a little off on my line. Let's see my other one. That one looks more right, so I'm going to fix that first one. Sometimes you have to do that. You have to look and see, oh wait, it's not, my last one isn't quite right, so I need to fix it. All right, let's try that again. So I'm going to line up here. I'm going to mark a little far down there. Okay, I'm going to mark where 45 is, which is about here. So I was a little off over there. It is quite hard to get things lined up with the digital one. It definitely gives me more of a challenge than what you have. Okay. All right, now let's check that last angle. Hopefully it's a little bit closer to 90. Okay, and it looks like, yep, I'm pretty darn close to 90. It's not perfect. That's because I can't draw perfectly straight lines with this tool. Okay, so here's my triangle. Now I need to classify it. So classify means name it. I have a right angle, so it's going to be right. I have two angles that are the same. That means these two sides are also going to be the same. When I have two angles the same and two sides the same, that's isosceles. All right, let's take a look at this next one. Again, I want you to do it along with me. Feel free to pause the video after each step while you go. So draw a triangle with a 3 centimeter side and a 4 centimeter side that meet at a 20-degree angle, and then classify the triangle. So the hard thing about this for me is that I don't exactly have all the tools that I need to measure it exactly, but I'm going to try the best that I can. Now, the majority of protractors will have a ruler on the bottom. Mine doesn't happen to have one. So I have a ruler here separate. The inside of your assignment notebook has a ruler if you don't happen to have a ruler with a centimeter side and an inches side. All right, so we're going to start by doing our 3 centimeter side. You're going to use your ruler. Okay, 3 centimeters. Anything they tell you to draw, you need to label. So we're going to label 3 centimeters. Okay, and then a 4 centimeter side that meet at a 20-degree angle. So I'm going to go ahead, like in my last one, line up the end of my side and line up my center point. So my line is lining up with my line. My center point is lining up with the left-hand side of this. 4 centimeter side meets at a 20-degree angle. So I need to find 20 degrees. Here it is. I need to make a mark. I now need to, for me, I need to switch it back to my ruler here. All right. So just like before, you need to line up the edge here with your point. Okay, there we go. Now I'm doing 4 centimeters. So go to where 4 centimeters is. Centimeter side is smaller than the inches side. On most protractors, this is on the inside. Let me put my ruler next to my protractor here. Ugh. On most protractors that have a ruler, it looks like this. The centimeters really looks like this. Centimeters are in the inside, this part, and then the inches are on the bottom. So make sure you're using the right one. Okay, and then I need to connect those last 2 sides. I'll go ahead and use the ruler because this ruler actually lets me do nice straight lines. Okay, so I'm going to line it up. All right, so 3 centimeter side I labeled, 4 centimeter side I labeled. I forgot to label the 20 degrees. I'm going to go back and mark that 20 degrees. You can always write it on the outside here and put a label, an arrow to point to it if you don't have enough space inside your triangle to mark it. Okay, it does say to classify the triangle if I move my tools out of the way here. Okay, so looks like I've got 3 different side lengths, so that's going to be scalene. And it looks like this angle right here is obtuse. So it's going to be a scalene obtuse triangle. Now if I wanted to check my angles, I could take my protractor, line it up here. Yeah, this looks like it goes up to about 120 degrees. My line is pointing to the left. I use the top set of numbers. So yeah, that's more than 90 degrees for sure on the bottom there, so that is going to be obtuse. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. All right, so let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and check our answers. So I've got a 1-inch side and a 2-inch side. So inches are on the bottom here. They're the bigger ones. 1-inch side. And the 2-inch side meets at a 60 degree angle. I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay, so 60 degree angle is right here. My line is pointing to the right. That means I'm using the bottom set of numbers. Okay. My next side needs to be 2 inches, so I'm going to switch back to my ruler. I'm I'm going to make sure that I'm lining up the inches side of my ruler. The last one we had to line up the centimeter side. Okay, 2 inches. Okay. This one was 30. Nope, 60. Okay, and then I need to connect my 2 ends. With my 3rd side, so I've got to line those up. Then I need to classify. That looks like a right angle to me that I just drew, so let's double check it. Yep, that's a perfect right angle, this one right here. So I'm going to have a right triangle, and this one is a scalene because none of the sides are the same. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more of these problems. So for depending on which angle and which side criteria you have, you may be able to form one triangle, many triangles, or no triangles. All right, so it says in the space below, and you are doing this on your paper, you're going to construct a triangle with a 60-degree angle and one side that is 4 centimeters. And then it says, does your triangle look like your neighbor's? Obviously, you don't have neighbors right now if you're watching this at home. And then does it look like mine? So you're going to go ahead and try this on your own. Pause your video. And then in a minute, you're going to compare yours to mine to see if they're the same. Okay, if you have your triangle done, then you can go ahead and watch what I'm doing. If you don't have your triangle done, then you need to do it on your own before you compare. So 4 centimeters. Make sure it's labeled. Okay, and then I need to do a 60-degree angle. Okay, so I'm going to line up my side here, line up the line with the line, end of the line with a point here. 60 degrees on the bottom is right here. All right, you do need to line up the 2 parts that you have. And you're lining up those last parts. They didn't tell you how long, how many degrees, so you can just line up what you have. You should have your 4 centimeter side marked. You should have your 60-degree angle marked. So does your triangle look like mine? Probably not. Because you could have many different side lengths. So I'm just going to sketch in some. I purposely made mine obtuse because usually when I see people do this, they don't have obtuse ones. Depending on how long that second line is, you might have had one that looked like that. That one kind of looks like a right triangle to me. You might have had one that looked like this. That one kind of looks isosceles to me. There are lots of different ways you did it. Mine was a obtuse scaling triangle. So you might have done it lots of different ways. If I only know one side length and I only know one angle, there are many triangles that we can make. All right, so here are some more to try on your paper. So go ahead and try, go ahead and take 5 minutes, pause the video, try 5 minutes worth of these. I will tell you one of them has no solution, that it can't make a triangle. So go ahead, pause the video, try for 5 minutes, and then when you reach 5 minutes, you can go ahead and stop, even if you haven't gotten them all. And then you're going to compare them with mine. All right, so for the first one, side length of 4 centimeters and side length of 5 centimeters that meet at a 60-degree angle. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to need to give myself some more space here. Okay, 4 centimeter, 5 centimeters. So I'm going to need a ruler. Nope, that's not what I want. Where's my ruler? Here it is. Okay, 4 centimeters. Make sure anything they tell you to draw that you label. So 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters meet at a 60-degree angle. Okay, so I need a protractor as well. Let's bring it down. 60-degree angle. Okay, so actually I lined it up with the wrong thing. Now I'm doing 5 centimeters. Lining up the end of my line. Here I'm lining up with the centimeter side. Oh man. Okay, so 5 centimeters right there. This was 60 degrees. Then I am using my ruler to line up the other 2 sides. There we go. That was my triangle number 1. When you know 2 sides and 1 angle, there's only 1 triangle you can make. Yours should look exactly the same size and same shape as mine. Now, obviously, depending on how big the screen is, my measurements here won't be the same, but yours should look exactly like mine. So with 2 side lengths and 1 angle, there's only 1 triangle you can make. Okay, a triangle with 2 45 degrees angles and a 90-degree angle. We actually drew this already. Let me find it. There it is. Number 1, we drew it already. 45, 45, 90. So this one, there's many that we could make. I could have made it, whoops, that's not where I wanted it to be. I could have made it super teeny tiny. I could have made it super big, depending on how long the sides are. So there are many different ones that you could do there. For 3, a triangle with sides 5 centimeters, 7 centimeters, and 9 centimeters. For this one, there's only 1 triangle that you could make. No matter what it is, you're going to have the same number of sides. For this one, to make it, you'd have to do, what was it, 5, 7, 9? A little bit of guessing and checking to figure out kind of how to get it to match up. My smart tools are hard for me to do. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and just do my 9 on the bottom. 9 centimeters. And then I would have to kind of figure out how to do, let's see, 5 would be here or here. That would be 5. Let's see where my 7's going to match up. Be grateful that you have an actual paper and pencil there. Okay, here's my 7. Looks like it about matches up with that one. Go back. So your 579 would look very similar to this. On your test, you would not have to do one without any angle measures that you're constructing like that one. That one required a little bit of guessing and checking to line up. But if we only know the side lengths, we know all 3 side lengths, there's only one triangle we can make. Okay, for number 4, a triangle with a 30-degree angle, a 60-degree angle, and a side length of 5 centimeters in between these angles. Now, if you didn't get down to number 4 yet, you should do it with me. All right, now my centimeters are upside down, but that's all right. 5 centimeters would be here. Okay, 30-degree angle and 60-degree angle. Okay, 30 degrees would be here. Okay, so I label it. Remember, anything that you have to do, you're going to label. And then 60-degree angle. So I'm lining up my end point here. I'm lining up my line. 60 degrees would be right there. My goodness, I have so many random markings. This little dot was one I need. Oof, that wasn't very straight. We're just going to pretend it is 60 degrees. I don't think I put a degree here, 30 degrees. Ideally, that top one should look like a right angle. Mine's a little wobbly. Get rid of this extra tail. All right, so that is my triangle for number 4. Yours should look exactly the same as mine. There's only one triangle that you can do. And then triangle with sides 2, 4, and 8. If you were doing guess and check like we did for number 3, that's not going to work. Remember, the 2 short sides need to add up to be longer than the longest side. These would be 6. 6 is less than 8. There's no way to stretch those 2 sides long enough. So there are no triangles you can make on that one. All right, so our one, none, or many rules. If we have one side and one angle measurement, we can construct many triangles. That's like the first one that you did to compare to mine. Given 2 sides and an angle in between, that was like our number 1 here. 2 sides, 1 angle. There's only one triangle that you can make. They're all going to look exactly the same. Given 2 angles and a side, that's like the last one that I just did. Find it, 2 angles and a side in between them. That one is only going to be 1. There's only one triangle you can do. Given 3 side lengths, that was like number 3 and number 5, you can either construct one triangle if the 2 short add to be longer than the third, or no triangles. And then for our last one here, given 3 angle measurements, you can construct many triangles. They could be tiny, they could be big, they'll look like each other, but if you don't have any sort of guideline about the size of the sides, then there are many different ones that you can do.